Perhaps you click this video because deep down you fear that one day you'll wake up and realize you've lived the wrong life. But that realization doesn't come all at once. It happens quietly, bit by bit, with each silent compromise. Every lie you tell just to be accepted. Every truth you ignore to feel safe. These seemingly harmless choices accumulate over the years, and eventually, you look in the mirror and no longer recognize yourself. That's not fate. That's the result of a repeating pattern. Nietzsche, the renowned philosopher, saw this coming long ago. Beneath his fury and pessimism lay a sobering message. Wake up now, or pay the price later. The good news is, if you're reading this, there's still time. Time to reflect, to stop living the life others expect of you, and to start living the truth inside you. Life doesn't hand out awareness, it demands that you face yourself and act. And if you don't start now, you may become someone you no longer recognize, or no longer wish to be. From an early age, we aren't taught how to think for ourselves, we're taught how to obey. School doesn't encourage creative thought or questioning. It emphasizes compliance. Raise your hand at the right time. Sit still. Memorize and repeat like a machine. No one asks, "What do you think?" You're simply told, "This is what's right." Nietzsche believed this kind of education kills the individual spirit. Because the crowd doesn't want you to think, it wants you to conform. And so people grow up mistaking obedience for intelligence. They become experts at mimicking success, following rules, doing what's expected. But they lose the ability to question, to think critically, to seek truth. When you lose your capacity for independent thought, you don't just lose your freedom, you lose your identity. Life becomes a role in someone else's story, not a journey you've chosen. Tragically, most realize this only after they've gone too far down the wrong path. When the way back is too obscure.
Nietzsche didn't just warn, he awakened. He believed a life without independent thought isn't living, it's existing under someone else's control. Truth is often unwelcome. Most people don't actually want truth, they want comfort. Nietzsche saw this early. Humans don't crave truth as much as they think. What they truly seek is comfort, familiarity, safety, ease, even when it's built on illusion. When you reveal the truth to others, don't expect gratitude. Many will ignore you, resent you, or even turn against you. Truth is cold, inconvenient, and difficult. It doesn't soothe feelings or accommodate old beliefs. It forces change, and change is frightening. Nietzsche saw it throughout history. People pretend to love truth, but they really want reassurance. They surround themselves with comforting slogans, groupthink, and empty affirmations. Not because they're bad, but because they're afraid. But truth makes no compromises. It doesn't adapt to your feelings. It simply exists, whether you're ready to face it or not. And if you ignore it, you may live in temporary comfort. But one day, truth will shatter your illusion, and by then, it's usually too late. Nietzsche didn't blame people for their fear, but he warned that unless you overcome it, you'll live a lifetime in self-deception. People treat pain like the enemy, but Nietzsche believed the opposite. He saw pain as a mirror, the only thing that truly reflects who you are. He once wrote, "To live is to suffer. To survive is to find meaning in the suffering. What hurts you reveals what you cling to. What breaks you shows what you've neglected." What you resist uncovers who you believe you are. Pain isn't random. It points you toward what needs healing. But instead of listening, modern people do everything to avoid it. They take pills, chase distractions, bury themselves in work. Anything to avoid feeling. But pain doesn't disappear. It waits. It grows. And one day, it forces a confrontation. Usually when it's too late. Nietzsche wasn't glorifying meaningless suffering. He didn't ask us to blindly endure. He believed that only by moving through pain can you become stronger than what wounded you. Most people learn this after years of running, broken relationships, and missed chances. By the time they realize pain wasn't the enemy, youth, passion, and time have already passed. There's something seductive about the crowd. Within it, you feel safe, affirmed, like you belong. But Nietzsche warned, the crowd is not wise, it's just loud. It doesn't think, it reacts. It doesn't question, it repeats. And the larger it grows, the more dangerous it becomes. He once wrote, "Madness in individuals is rare, but in groups, parties, nations, and eras, it is the rule." Hysteria, illusion, and error spread fastest in collectives, where no one dares to question. Many spend their lives chasing approval from crowds without realizing those they seek to please are also lost. They're not chasing truth, they're seeking validation. They don't stand for their own values, they conform to avoid loneliness. Eventually, they realize they've traded authenticity, belief, and voice for acceptance. But by then it's often too late. They've given up too much to turn back. Nietzsche said, "To live a life that is truly yours, you must learn to disappoint the crowd." And sadly, most people only find the courage to do so when their time is almost gone. Many people misunderstand discipline, thinking it's about motivation or self-punishment. They wait for inspiration before acting, but Nietzsche had a different view. To him, discipline isn't driven by fleeting emotion, it's rooted in self-respect. Waiting for motivation is giving up control over your life. If you only act when you feel like it, you're handing power to temporary emotions instead of values and principles. Nietzsche likened discipline to brushing your teeth. Not because you want to, but because it's the right thing to do. You uphold boundaries not because it's easy, but because you know you deserve respect. Discipline means committing to action aligned with your values, no matter how difficult or how you feel. When you act from self-respect, you become consistent, trustworthy, and resilient. If you rely only on fleeting inspiration, your life will be built on sand. Most people only learn this after repeated failures, missed goals, lost opportunities, and self-betrayal. They think they lack motivation, but what they truly lack is self-respect. That's why discipline is not control. It's the deepest form of self-love. People will often support you until you surpass them. They like who you are now, a version that doesn't change, doesn't outgrow them, doesn't disrupt their comfort or status. Nietzsche bluntly said that most people don't want you to fail, but they don't want you to grow past the limits they've set for. Your growth forces others to confront their own stagnation. Your success highlights their excuses. Your change upsets the balance. So when you set boundaries, chase ambition, or speak your truth, some won't celebrate. They'll distance themselves, mock you, or stop supporting you altogether. That doesn't mean you're wrong. It means you've stopped shrinking to fit their world. Your transformation unsettles them. Many only realize this after losing relationships they once thought were forever. But those relationships were based on who you were, not who you've become. Nietzsche believed that to be true to yourself, you must accept losing the approval of some people. That's the cost of growth.